Happy Sunday, everybody. Not working out today, not lifting weights. Just got done mowing. Let me turn this fan off because it's loud. But yeah, just got done mowing, getting a good sweat in because it's early and it's really, really humid. So it opens my pores and lets them express themselves. I don't know, I'm just being stupid. I'm going to stretch in a few minutes since everything's already kind of loosened up. Take advantage of that. And then go do whatever I want for the rest of the day. So one of the things, and this is completely tangential. Well, it is tangential, but not completely disparate. One of the things I was thinking about and talking with some people that I talk with online, just, old online friends, you come to the realization, especially now here as I meander back to very old social media here on YouTube, because I don't have access to the meta platforms anymore, and the rest of them just seem to be really bad in terms of just how content is managed. Like one of the things that it's gotten really weird out there in terms of, and let me preface this with saying, in the end, we're all humans, right? We all born the same way. We're all gonna die. And then we just have this thing called life in the middle. And, one of the things that you see on social media now in myriad forms is like the idea that people need to present a label or a type in order to initiate an interaction. And I'm old, I'm obviously white dude, so take that for what it's worth. But a lot of people, they filter, and understandably so. There's a lot of noise out there on the internet. Got it. And there's too much to do. But maybe that's because we're trying to do too much. But we use these, hashtags and filters and whatever, like the platforms now, they have places for pronouns and these things, and and all that stuff is fine. I mean, you identify however you want. Again, in the end, we're all just humans. But I think the issue is that a lot of times we gate these interactions, or what's worse, and this is my real problem with them, is that we see a label, whatever that label may be, and then we already, based on our own interactions, and humans are bad at this because we operate on limited knowledge and we have to make decisions. So we extrapolate all the time, and that's bad. Extrapolations are generally wrong. Something is going to be an anomaly to what we expect. So anyhow, we see these labels, whatever they may be, and then we generalize and we expect for these people to be a certain way. And then based on our prior online interactions, we just shut them down sometimes, or we just ignore them, block them, whatever. And again, if that's the way you want to live your life, fine. I'm not one to tell you otherwise. But the issue I see is I see a lot of people who now are manifesting some sort of bad feels about themselves. And I think a lot of this is starting to really get into this idea of self-perception, this idea of who we are. And I'm no psychologist. Again, I'm just a old white dude who's been taking notes along the way. And so what I don't really have a point. It's more of an observation. So yeah, I don't have a lot to say. I'm sweaty from mowing. I'm gonna do some stretching, and I thought I'd kill a little bit of time in between making a video, but I really just wanted to at least get the thing on my chest that we need to do better, generally, all of us, in terms of getting through life without trying to label and categorize and organize every person and experience we think we're going to have with these people. I think it really causes problems. I was watching the Conan O'Brien Mark Twain thing on Netflix last night, which I thought was good. And I forget who said it, but they quoted Twain, who, had notably traveled the world. And one of the things he said was tantamount, because I can't remember the quote precisely, but was tantamount to the idea that as you go out and experience different people and different cultures and expand your own horizons and your own worldview, a lot of those preconceived stereotypes that lead to racism and sexism, all the bad isms and all the things that we shouldn't be doing as people, when we do that stuff, right, it breaks those barriers down, and it levels the playing field. It helps us understand that we are dealing with nothing more than other people. And that's it, right? And so these people lie on the spectrum of whatever they are on, right? And it could be due to, how they perceive themselves, who they are interested in, what kind of foods they want to eat, whatever it may be, doesn't matter. That's where they exist. But as we go through and we interact with more of these people, we start to understand they are just really, and I hate to say normal, but they really fit within that normal distribution of people, labels aside. And so two things going on, right? One, right, social media, because the algorithms need it, right? They want you to provide them those categorizations. They want you to hashtag everything up. And sure, I hashtag stuff too, but my hashtags have nonsense. But they want you to put all these hashtags on. That allows the algorithm to sort and sift and, filter things to deliver to some person's feed based on what they've liked in the past. So they want that information. So, they're asking for it. A lot of people are giving it. And again, that filters the thing, filters what they see. But I think that we getting away from the idea of labeling things and categorizing things, I think helps. Stripping away the whole hashtag philosophy probably would make social media in a lot of cases a better place. And then the other thing is that as we go through and we interact with people and we see these various hashtags, and remember, social media is going to feed you stuff that you do not like. It's going to feed you stuff that is going to fuel hate, because that's going to make you stick around longer and scroll through and dislike stuff or share it and send it to other people in your group chats and laugh at these people and stuff. It feeds on that too, right? Because it just wants your eyes on that screen, and the longer it keeps your eyes on the screen, it doesn't care what the method is. So yeah, the algorithm is malicious. It is going to make you look at things you do not like, and so that hashtag philosophy is going to work against you. It's going to feed you things that are going to fuel whatever's inside of you that makes you not like people, which we should all do better at, right? So again, the idea is, one, the category, the categorization, the labeling, that's all bad juju. And then the other side of it, again, like I kind of spoke to and then went away from, the idea is we go out and we experience these different people and take them for who they are. We're going to break down a lot of those preconceived notions that we have in our heads. The more data we accumulate, the more we understand how wide the human experience can be. So, Mark Twain was saying this in a time where, in order to do that negotiation of experiencing other humans and other cultures and all that kind of stuff, you had to get on a boat and travel for weeks to get to even Europe, right? We don't have that burden. We can do this in a matter of minutes, seconds, right? We can interact with people from all the way around the world, and we can immerse themselves in their culture, even if it is superficially, even if it is kind of vicariously through, a virtual experience, as it were. But when we do that and we start to see that, oh, wow, this country has similar problems to my country, and, it treats people from this area in a certain way and all this stuff, and it's like, well, that's stupid because it really doesn't matter. And you start to self-reflect, hopefully, and see that, wow, me thinking, that people from this area of the United States are weird or stupid, that's all dumb. It's all dumb, right? So, anyhow, when you get to stretching, got done sweating, but, was just thinking on some stuff. Let's see who watches this video. But again, my concern is that we're not doing ourselves any favors the way we're kind of living our lives online, and it's only getting worse. So it's up to us, both the content creators and the content consumers, to do a better job of interacting with each other and kind of throwing away a lot of the generalizations that we have that we know are misguided, and interacting people on a case-by-case basis, and just, understanding what it's like to be human. Now, what does that mean? It means you might interact with far less people because it's going to take time to get to know someone or take time to interact. And that's okay. I go on, when I was on Instagram, right, there are some people who, their personal accounts, and for just personal accounts, they were following thousands of other accounts. I'm like, you don't know thousands of people. Us humans, through the course of our lives, we might know thousands of people, but it's a lot of times they're going to be pretty superficial. They average is like 150 or something people a person's going to know in their lifetime, really know. So keeping that in mind, the idea that you've got accounts that are following all these people, it's all superficial. And again, the experience is being filtered by these labels and categories and things that, again, the algorithm's just trying to feed you this stuff so that it keeps you nursing on that teat of like or hate that just allows them to sell advertising. So anyhow, just rambling. Wanted to share some thoughts that are in my head. They have nothing to do with training other than when we do interact with other people training. It's good to keep that stuff in mind too. There's going to be people stronger, people weaker, people can put on masks easier, people have a harder time putting on masks. And this is irrespective of what they're doing in the gym or in the kitchen. It's just the way they are genetically composed. So they're going to have a different experience lifting weights or exercising than other people. So again, the idea of throwing away categories and helping people get through something like a fitness regimen or a dietary regimen in such a way it allows them to hit those goals, be flexible, and create the proper mentality for them. That's what's important. So we can take all that big scope of, hey, let's be better to each other, let's generalize less, let's embrace the idea of the concept of the human as a whole, scope that down, and it still all works at a very niche level. And we apply it to something like moving a barbell, or running, or doing sprints, or macro composition, or whatever it is that we want to do for some sort of athletic activity. So keep those things in mind and try and use these tools. I'm an early adopter of the internet. I was on the internet back when I was downloading up through like Prodigy, right? Back in the late 80s, early 90s. So I'm a believer there's a lot of good things that we can do with the information that's out there on the internet. We just got to choose to do it. And we have to constantly remind ourselves what our goals are when we interact with this online interface. What are we trying to do? Are we trying to expand our knowledge, expand our own community, or are we just trying to do something else that's probably not as useful? So anyhow, again, hope everyone has a great Sunday. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing deadlifts. I'm going to stretch out my old shoulders, maybe do some work on my hips and knees, and then the rest of the day is free. I feel great, feel fantastic, and I hope all you guys do too. All right? Peace.